and go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, excellent. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's a pleasure to speak to you for the SCLA 2020 annual conference. We are excited to present some of our newly acquired resources for you. In this short time, we won't obviously be able to do a deep dive into each one, but we are providing webinars and additional materials for you all to be able to share these out to your communities. So I do want to ask you to please put in chat any questions if we've come along here. If there's anything that you maybe have already jumped into some of these resources and have questions about, or if you just have questions for the initial overview. I'm very well pleased to let you know that we are covering TumbleMath, Peterson's Career Prep, and Tutor.com. I will let you know that the two that we actually acquired through Miss Lisa Aiken's ability to acquire them during the coronavirus shutdown and continue them now until the end of the school year are the TumbleMath and the Tutor.com. Many of you will be familiar with the career transitions that Gale provided us for several years. That has actually been discontinued, and Peterson's Career Prep is the new resource for career exploration, career assessments, and for resume and cover letter writing. I think that you'll be well pleased to see the little sneak preview today to see how much more of a powerful product that Peterson's Career Prep is as well. So we're going to look today at some of the resources, some of the key features, but we're also going to have a little discussion about marketing these, about being able to really fully utilize these and apply them in your libraries with different collaboration, programming, and other pieces. I also want to make sure that those of you who are from academic libraries, colleges, and universities, there's definitely application for you there as well. So we're going to first take a look. I think I'm going to just bounce out of the slides here and go live for you. There will be several times that I'll need to do this to share the screen so that you can see the live demos as well as see some of the key points on our slides. For TumbleMath, this is K through 6th grade storybooks with lesson plans and quizzes. You're also given the ability to link to storybooks for electronic handouts and sharing. And as we look at some of these, please do think about ways that you could incorporate these into your library. Please pardon me if I slip and say Tumble Books instead of TumbleMath, because I've been preaching Tumble Books so long that sometimes I do slip up and say that. But if you all would like to go ahead and add in chat, if any of you have explored this resource and you have already come up with some dynamic ways to use it in your library, especially in our virtual environment, please chime in there in chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share this new screen, and if you'll bear with me one moment as I switch back to the live version here. Let's see if I can find my options. Oh, there's my screen. Okay, so we're moving out to the Discus page here. As you can see, I'm just going to go out to the home page there. Obviously, many of you are coming in from public libraries and academic libraries where you'll have your own link to the TumbleMath that is linked to your website. So the actual access is going to be a little different, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in here to locate this for you. And when you see in TumbleMath, one of the exciting things about this is that it's not just used for math instruction. It's not just used for students that are needing that extra help in math, but you have a very important role with the public libraries in infusing these TumbleMath books into your fun program. So if math isn't so fun for a student in school, but they come into an after-school program, or they do something that is associated with your summer reading, or something that really pulls them in, where they are learning math concepts and improving their math skills in a fun way, that's a great place that you all, with the children's librarians, can actually be a big part of that. It's sort of like the old truism of parents sort of slipping that broccoli into something else that the kids really like in order to get them to eat it and get that good nutrition. So think about that as we look through these. You can see on this screen, I've kind of enlarged it here. I'm going to actually pull it down to 100% for you to see it all. I want to show you a couple of key features. I know that most of you are already familiar with Tumble Books, which is also a partner for the vendor of these books. But you'll see that this is very easily accessible by the children also. So even if you notice that a student, maybe comes in after school and they are struggling with something particular, with word problems or multiplication, etc., there's another application for you. But it is very easy for them to access the categories that you see across the top. And you'll also see that there are several ways to browse the collection. One is under Quiz Portal, which you see in the top blue navigation bar. It can actually be browsed by Common Core. So this is really helpful for you all to know that work with children, because it does break it out by the grade level. So we have kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So this will actually tie the books into, I'm just going to pull up one here under number and operations. It actually ties the books to the grade level. So if you're ever searching for it that way, you'll see that there are also breakouts of all the books that would then relate to that particular standard, with quizzes and lesson plans along with each book. So that kind of follows the same pattern that you all are familiar with your Tumble books, but it gives you one more access point, sort of more by grade level. Also, you can go directly from Quiz Portal into the TumbleMath quiz portal itself. So even if you're wanting to do a little quiz with an after-school program or a homeschool program, you're able to actually access these as well. And once you go into the quiz, you're able to then print it out, or the patron can actually use it online on their devices. The other way that this can be searched is with the math search that you see on the top right-hand corner. And this will allow you to search by title, also by publisher. Notice this is added here. So as you get more familiar with the different publishers or the series, there might be certain books that sort of become your go-to publishers that you like to show or incorporate or use. And then there's one more opportunity just to pull them by category, as we did with the little colors across the top. One of the great things about these books are some of them are actually written around math themes, and some of them are just stories that lend themselves to math themes. So you might be able to do a story time, for instance, and sort of be infusing the math along with a fun story to get the students involved. Notice too, across the top, this is a part that will be of interest to you, is the index. It's the second one from the left in the navigation bar. And this actually indexes all of the titles in this collection. And you'll notice that it defaults to sort by title, A to Z. You can also sort the columns here by title, author, or category. So if you're only interested in looking for the books maybe on adding, perhaps you do have a parent who is struggling at home and wants to encourage their student, their child, to understand a particular topic. You can see these are now in alphabetical order along the right column by that. So if you are doing something such as a program on financial literacy and you want to be able to incorporate some of these concepts into the storybooks and have, especially in our virtual world, to be able to share some of these in your virtual programming. One of the ways that you can easily access these is to go to the book ID, which is in the first column that you see there on the left. And if you want to be able to make maybe an electronic handout that goes along with your financial literacy program, you could highlight that URL that belongs to that title. And then you can either email this out to a parent, you could email, copy the link onto a Word document and be able to make an electronic link list so that your users would be able to click on the links to get to the books. Many people ask what happens whenever you actually get to a book. Are you downloading the ebook separately? Is it a PDF? The answer to that question is this link will actually link to that book within the software of the database. So this is the screen that that end user would see here. And then that will take them straight in to the book to be read online and to the quizzes and lesson plans that go along with it as well. Please do, I believe Tiffany is watching chat, so if any of you have questions, Tiffany, please don't be shy about jumping in and asking or asking me as we go along here. I'll be glad to address any questions. So that's kind of how a general overview of how this works. We do have more in-depth webinars. We've had some teachers that have asked very specific types of topics that lend themselves to the training as well. But this is a great resource for you to use in many ways. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this screen share and be able to pull up our PowerPoint here. And get back to the PowerPoint piece. Hopefully you all will see that shortly. And you will see that these are some of the tie-ins that we had mentioned as we talked here, but you can actually do it with food literacy programming. We have pizza counting, we have kitchen math, there's teaspoons and tablespoons. These are animated storybooks. So again, they're very good supplements to your different programmings. Also, summer reading programs. The circumference books would have been ideal for this last year's summer reading with the fables and the tales and those kinds of things. Notice also for those of you at college and universities, those early childhood education programs, teacher education programs, so many times they're given assignments to review the storybooks, review books for different assignments they're doing, for different applications for their projects. This is a great one to remember, particularly those that are going into math education for elementary levels there as well. And if there are others there, other ways that you feel would be great to market, please add those there in chat. So I'm going to show you now, I'm just going to quickly jump out of that. Sorry for all the jumping back and forth. I just want to make sure that you get a good overview here. The last thing that we'll mention about TumbleMath is at the very bottom of the collection is the math admin there. Again, those of you who are Tumble book users will remember Tumble admin, but math admin will help you.
Linda?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. We
Yes.
did have a question in chat about usernames and passwords. So I'm sure you'll get to that at some point, but just letting you know you had the question about getting the username and login information.
Okay, with when you access through Discus, you would, if the student has or the patron is using a mobile device, they may be asked for the Discus username and password. There is no separate login to get into either Tumble Book Library or TumbleMath. But if they are prompted for the Discus username and password, that would be the current one that Miss Patricia Sinclair has sent out to your Discus contacts. So you'd want to check there, or just email the Discus office for that. For those that are linking in from the public libraries links there, that they would probably need to have their library card number, or whichever configuration the individual public library has provided that access through their link. Thank you for that question. So in the, just quickly here, you'll be able to see the collection here, the content views, book views, etc. The Your Collection button on this piece will actually break out how many titles they have on each of the categories. Do we have another question, Tiffany?
I don't even see the, somebody's supposed to be checking out temperature in the morning, Coach?
Just a reminder to everybody,
someone's
if
supposed to check
you
out
are
temperature? They did this morning. They didn't check it.
not,
But then I was like the second person here. I was like the second
if
person
you're not
here.
asking a question, please mute.
Okay. Sleepy bird.
Okay, well, you all are welcome. If you do have other questions or comments there in the chat, we will get back to those if you have them about TumbleMath, but I wanted to jump into Petersons for you here.
So would the login be the same for homeschool students? Would they use the public library login, or is there the generic Discus login, or
they should actually have seamless access. For this particular database, they should not have to log in. But if they are prompted, that's going to depend on, we have some homeschool people strictly go through the Discus website. Other homeschoolers work through their public libraries. So there shouldn't be any difficulties with the login there. If Patricia Sinclair, I'm not sure if she's joined us here, but if you are here and wanted to speak any more to that, Patricia, you're welcome to.
She was here earlier. I don't know if she's still in the meeting or not. I did post the Discus contact information in chat, and I will also post the State Library listservs, which includes the Discus listserv, which you frequently post the Discus updates and whoops, why did this? Sorry, I posted it to the wrong place. Try this again.
Yes, I believe that this is one of the databases that really geolocates, so we don't normally have to have a login for it. So that should not become a barrier as long as the person is in South Carolina. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead if there aren't any other questions there. I'm going to kind of transition to Peterson's Career Prep, and this is the one that is excellent to help your patrons discover careers that suit them well, potential career options. Right now, during this time, many people are re-careering, not voluntarily in many cases because they have lost jobs or had their hours cut in other positions. But this is a prime time for you to be able to conduct some of those even online job fairs or online resume building kinds of training and those kinds of pieces. And this is an excellent resource to do that with. One thing that you'll find is a difference between the career transitions that we had prior to this one is the resumes and cover letters are much more dynamic and impactful, and they're able to really make a good statement. They also are excellent because they are able to save them as PDF files. They're able to upload to LinkedIn. They're able to even produce a website in which they could direct potential employers to come and view their resumes. that's something that is definitely a plus about the new resource here. We're going to be providing webinars on Peterson's career prep in more depth. We're also going to be doing very targeted trainings out of the Discus office that are going to have just simple sections of create resumes or do job exploration. One of the questions that we've had is the difference between career transitions and Petersons. The patron at this point does need to log in and create an account before they're able to utilize each of the sections of the new resource. Some people have kind of reacted like they really don't like that, they don't want to do that, but once people realize how this is all tied in for them, this actually helps them already fill in part of their resume just by creating that account. And the other piece that it does for them is it ties all of their assessments together, and they're able to easily log in and see those. In the career transitions, you could take the assessment, but you really couldn't continue to view and see that. What are the assessments? You will notice that this interest assessment is one. There are two assessments that the patron would take. One is the interest assessment that's very similar to what you saw in career transitions. That is more or less their interest. But what makes this new database more powerful is the values assessment is tied to it. So instead of generating just a list of general jobs or industries that their interests would be applicable to, it's also really able to prioritize those jobs that the system sends in their result list actually shows there. So what that means for the user is they're also able to say, you know, what would I prefer to do, work alone? Do you know, what do I appreciate more in a job situation? So that really helps to nail down more that suitability for particular jobs. So you'll also see once they've look at their results here, they do match them by subject. So the key areas would then be broken out of what ties to that person's assessments. So they can actually browse through the careers that way. They can go directly into jobs, watch a career video there on the right, view the programs, knowledge and skills that are required. Again, ONET is the driver for this, just as it was in career transitions. So all of that occupational handbook online is going to be what derives this information. And then you'll also see they can view job matches further within related industries. They can connect to ONET for more details if they want to go out to that source. So that's another feature. And then the Peters Career Prep resume piece, and I need to thank Amber Winters with Gale for her snapshots here. This is very new to the Gale vendor as well, this database. So they are now developing some more training kinds of materials that they're not quite ready yet. But this is something that you can see the difference between career transitions and what your patrons are going to be able to do now is they're going to be able to choose from several different impactful templates to be able to create their resumes. So if they are going into a particular field that's maybe more creative, maybe they're looking into a job for photography or a job for something to do with graphic arts, that kind of thing. If they're going into a more general, perhaps a more conservative or traditional job that they're applying for, there are going to be some more classical ones that are streamlined there. And the other beauty of this is your patron will be able to either use the box that you see on the left, which is more of just the streamlined, just the facts ma'am kind of information, where they're going to be able to just enter information and then pull it up and view it in a template. Your other patrons may be much more interested in going straight into the template and typing it there. So they're going to have a little more flexibility as to how they build their resume there. So I'm going to pause just a moment before we move to the tutoring part. there and see if you had any questions or comments, if any of you have already done a test drive and have any questions. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead. Please feel free to type. Again, just because we've gone to the next section does not mean I will not be happy to address your question on that. But I am going to go ahead and go into, I'm going to just go back to the Discus page here. I'm going to go ahead and go back into Petersons. I wanted to show you something here that's going to relate to you, whether you are at the public library, academic or school library, is many people have asked about the title of this database, and it does become an issue when you're trying to add this to your electronic list, and its official title is Gale Presents Petersons. So the question is, do I put it under the G's? Do I put it under the P's? You know, is there some official word from the vendor? So what I found out from the vendor, from Gale, is that, you know, that is going to be your preference, how you want to alphabetize that on your electronic lists there, and how you want to refer to it to your patrons. So, you know, some may file it under G's, some may file it under P's, but apparently that's not a big issue with the vendor. So that's completely up to you. But as we go in, notice again, you're going to be able to see those 3 key buckets there, where you're going to be able to create the resume, find the career, do the career assessment piece, and then also find forms and all kinds of worksheets and information related to for career advice. So if a person needs a little extra help thinking of questions to ask at the end of their interview and those kinds of things, those worksheets will be available to them there. And in order to use it, again, they would need to register there on the top. They could log in here and be able to open up all of those key functionalities that I showed you through the slides. Again, we'll be doing additional workshops on these as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our third and certainly last but certainly not least of our resources that I hope that you're kind of getting your feet wet with and getting familiar with. I'm going to pull up our just a quick little share here just for the sake of time to pull into Tutor.com. This is real-time tutoring. It actually has several aspects here. They have real-time tutoring for K through 12 students in South Carolina. And you see here the tutoring hours are from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern time. And you'll also note that there are Spanish-speaking tutors that are available from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So if you have Spanish-speaking students or populations where that's their first language and they're much more comfortable, maybe, you know, learning about a lesson with the native Spanish-speaking, that is an option also. And you'll also see we have a do not as rule number 1. I do want to encourage you, whether you're at the academic library or at school or public library, try to make sure that your patrons do not type in tutor.com and then they think they're going to be off to the races and find that they can't log in, that it won't allow them to actually connect to a tutor. That's because the tutor.com link will actually take them to the company's main website. And if you ever have, that's the first question you want to ask a patron if they say they aren't able to get into it, what they should find when they go into access it through the Discus page or through the South Carolina Public Library websites or your academic libraries is they should be able to see the Discus logo. That will be your first clue if they're in the right place there. So I just wanted to highlight that piece for you just as a little gotcha tip for those of you working with your patrons. So there is a question about personal accounts for this resource as well. In order to connect to the real-time live tutoring service, there is no personal account required. And that's makes it much easier for those that are very young, K through 5, K through 6 levels particularly, but also for everyone. If someone has struggled to work on a math problem, they tried to get their uncle to help, their parent to help, and they just want to be able to access a specific tutor to be able to get them out of a pinch. It's going to be seamless, and they're going to be able to go straight in and connect. If the students 14 and over can create a personal account in the resource, and we'll show that to you when we go live, but that personal account is also going to unlock other options, such as a math problem drop-off, where they, you know, if they've, again, already been struggling, maybe they were working on a math problem, but now it's after 10 p.m. Eastern and the live tutors aren't available again until the morning, they would be able to drop off that math problem and have someone work through and show them the steps of it within a 12-hour turnaround period. So that's an option for them. Also, they have the option to ask for a paper review. So if they want someone to read their paper and comment there, they'll have that option as well. So those are for those that are in upper middle to through high school for that. Your next question may be, what about the students who are younger that are wanting, you know, or have written a paper or they need help with a math problem? They will have access to ask those questions only during that real-time live tutoring time period for the real-time piece. So they will still be able to ask questions about their writing, about their math, but this is completely a security feature, especially to be COPA compliant with the children's online policies that are in place. So this was what the 14 and ups would be creating their accounts. This is what it would look like here to unlock those features. This is what it's going to look like when the student logs, the 14-year-old or up has dropped off a math problem, to be able to get that step-by-step advice on how you would work it out. And you'll see that they will actually, there will be an email generated to them. Tutors never directly email any of the patrons or the students, but as soon as the tutor has actually worked out the process for that student, that will automatically then generate just a notification to the student. The student would then log into the account and be able to see the review. One of the questions that I've had is, you know, well, this would be very easy for students to just turn all their math questions into tutor.com and go out and have fun and not have to do their homework. That doesn't work that way because, again, there is that they're only allowed to submit a math problem once in every 24-hour time period. Those that drop off an essay will also get feedback in their accounts that they've created. Notice they will get comments such as the bottom thesis statement. They'll comment on each part of it, but it is not a paper mill, so they won't rewrite it for them and hand them, you know, back, here's your Word doc all rewritten. These are going to be things that tutor is emphasizing that the student needs to actually pay greater attention to or work out or develop more. So that's another piece there for you to be aware of, that the whole purpose of the tutor.com is truly to help the students get over a hump and be able to not get behind with their classwork, etc. The other little screenshot that I wanted to show you here is what that tutor.com, whenever the tutor is connected to the student, this is the workroom that student will see. And they do have a voice chat option where they can get a 1-800 number to be able to call and talk to that tutor, or they can just do it by chat. But what you see here is there are whiteboards available, graphing calculator, they have a code editor, for some of the computer related things, a text editor, etc. And there's no limit. They can have several whiteboards that they open there. All of the text tools there on the left. So that tutor is going to be able to work in real time with all of these tools to be able to support that student. There is an honor code that the students see as they, and it's actually on the very front page of the tutor.com source, and I'll show that to you in a moment as well. I'll call that to your attention. But these are some of the ways that you can also market tutor.com. Certainly if you have formal, at-home learning programs or workshops, homeschool, those kinds of things. If you have children's programming that relates to this, also, the SAT and ACT prep is another feature that is available to those that are 14 and up, that you could even, host a SAT or ACT prep party and show them how this works. And then certainly the Public Library School District collaboration. This is one something that we just got informed of this week is about Carl Coffin's work with the school district, actually promoting tutor.com directly to those students. We've had several wonderful success stories over this time period of students that, were going to drop their Spanish class, but they were able to get that tutoring piece pulled in and now have gotten over that hump of what they were, so stuck with and being able to move forward. And there's just been a lot of excellent feedback there. And as you can imagine, math is the #1 tutoring piece that our state has been taking part in on those live tutoring sessions. So I'm going to just take you here quickly live so that you can see the tutor.com piece live there. Some of the public libraries actually had their own subscriptions to tutor.com prior to the state library providing this access for the state. So some of you may already be familiar with it, but this is where the student can just drop in. Again, you see the Discus logo there. The student is able to connect immediately. You'll notice there on your left that this is bolded, so that is a live link. These are the ones that are grayed out are going to be the ones that do require creating the account that you have there. But the students can actually go here, just scroll down and look by the topic, perhaps if they're struggling in English, writing, etc. There's also toward the bottom, the world languages. So again, if you have a student who's learning Spanish and struggling, there are also tutors that will support that as well. Social studies, US history, etc. So they can actually pick their topic first and go that route. They will see this pop up, but all they'll have to do is close out of that whenever they're just wanting to connect directly to the tutor. They would then select their grade. They would then, talk a little bit about, I'm trying to learn this concept of in social studies, about communism, and I've written a paper about it, but I'm not really sure if it's, done well, etc. So they're able to do that. They can also just go strictly from that home page and just click Connect Now, which is easy enough. Then they can check what topics, what grade level they are, and you'll notice that the subjects there change on your right, depending on what the subjects are and the grade level that's chosen there. I'm going to pause for just a minute and ask Tiffany if there are any additional questions or comments about any of the 3 resources today.
So far, it doesn't look like we have anything in chat at the moment. Does anyone have any other questions?
Okay. Well, that's pretty much what I've covered for today, just to really get your feet wet, get you excited about some of these new resources. We are looking to, as you know, we have access to our teen book cloud currently through December 15th, but that's something that we should also be able to get extended. They are working to extend that as well, but certainly through December 15th at this point. And that's something that is an entire collection of ebooks that you'll also be able to check out our webinars to learn more about. That's the Teen Book Cloud. I wanted to also show you something new that we've added to our Discus pages at the top. The e-learning FAQ is really geared toward those parents particularly that are needing extra assistance with the resources or understanding how to connect. Desiree Thomas, our customer support specialist in the office, really worked very diligently to make this very easily presented and easy to locate information. She worked with our webmaster to develop this. So you all are certainly able to look on that and use that if you want to develop an FAQ or something to support your users. You're certainly welcome to do that. And then there's also some great promotional item pieces, and I'm just going to pull up that link for you. I think it'll be easier to do that that way. There's some good social media kinds of promotion for Tutor.com. There are other templates and handouts there, and you can see those from our Discus site as well. So you'll see the info sheets, how-to videos, social media that you're able to use to also market to your parents and students at your schools. Okay, well, looks like we've come up on our 45-minute time. I really appreciate you joining us today. I look forward to working to support you moving forward in any way that I can. And certainly our office is here to be of service to you as well with any kind of troubleshooting questions that you have. And I'll just leave you with our contact information. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Linda. Any further questions? Last minute comments, questions? All right.